Believe it or not, in the same room, it is episode 52 of the Metal Roundtable. I am Metal Rob, and with me, as always, is the great...
Carcass John.
Carcass John. Well, things have changed. We are no longer in the KVGI studios. We were not kicked out. We were not fired. We did not fire Monkey Butt.
And we're no longer me broadcasting from my car at a truck stop.
That's true. Monkey Butt has moved to Michigan and has changed business a little bit. So he's up there, and until we figure out something with him, we are going to be back at laptop phase. So, hey, whatever.
Here we
we're
are
back
again.
Where we started. We've come full circle.
And we're actually in the same room together, although...
For the first time in a long time.
This isn't really practicing safe
social distancing.
But do we... Okay.
Yeah, we're out on a limb here.
Oh, something else is different, too. I have hair.
Yes, you do. It's quite dapper. Yeah.
I just haven't made it over to the...
You got some product in there?
I haven't made it over to the hair place yet, so...
Well, before we get started with episode 52's topic, I want to shout out, I'm doing this backwards, the greatness of Debilitator, a band I came across from Austin, Texas. It is very raw, blackened thrash. I've been playing those guys on the Metal Rob Show, Fridays on DeepDallasRadio.rocks, from 5 to 7 p.m. Debilitator, they are Goathead Lance approved, and good band. So I ordered their shirt to support the band during this whole lockdown, safe distancing, social situation, mask wearing thing, which we are not doing right now, which we probably should. But
then you couldn't tell who we were.
That's true. So man, support your favorite bands, buy some merch from them. And also, I want to shout out somebody that is going to release a record tomorrow digitally, and then the physical format comes out soon. We've talked about this band on the show before. I saw them open for Lucifer and another band that I can't think of right now. It's driving me crazy. Anyway, shout out to Overdose. We're going to have Reed on the show soon, and we're going to talk about all things Overdose, but I want you to go to Bandcamp and check out the Overdose page. They're from New York City. If Motorhead had handed the torch to anybody and said, carry on, it would be these guys. It is very Motorhead worship, very Motorhead influence, but also it's got their sprinklings of their own flavor, which makes it their own, and it's fantastic. I really, really dig this band. Bought a 7-inch at the show, had to buy the other one online because it was harder to find. Got the long sleeve shirt.
What do they say? That imitation is the best form of flattery?
The sincerest form of flattery.
There you
That's
go.
Right. But yeah, man, I can't tell you enough about these guys. Really dig it, and I'm looking forward to having Reed on the show.
Speaking of buying merch, thanks to all the record stores that have weathered the storm.
Yes.
And that are open. I went by Doc's one day just randomly when they were technically open to the public. Jenkins was kind enough to wheel a box of records out to me and then scamper back inside. So that was kind of a fun way of shopping in person, but not really being in person. I know that several other stores locally have opened up, and people are starting to try to find some semblance of normalcy. I know we still have to distance and wear a mask at times, keep our hands clean, but those are good things to do anyway. And
sure.
So anyhow, so shout out to them. Shout out to the Metal Barbecue down in Lake Jackson with the wild man Rob McNeese and friends. Nathan, I met Charles Sepulveda, who is the new bass player for Cemeterian, who, talk about a small world, we've been probably standing in the same room for the last 25 years and didn't even realize it. So it was good to make his acquaintance and know that Cemeterian is full force now with 2 guitar players, a bass player, a full-time bass player, the amazing Matt Hafner on drums, and the enigmatic Sawblade with his chainsaw-like vocals. So fun times. And those types of things probably will start happening more often, where people get together and listen to music and eat. I can't think of anything much better than that. So
yeah, awesome. So anyway. I noticed you're not wearing an unreadable band logo. Now, the thing I have to ask about your shirt, now, is this before Abath was running down the hill, falling on the side of the stage?
This was before then. This was, this was before then.
This was before that?
Yeah, this is like my favorite record from them. I know that, to me, they're all good. Even the noisy early Blizzard Beasts and Battles in the North and whatever. But this one is like this is like the Carcass Heartwork of Immortal.
Okay.
Where they sort of crossed over into that idea of a little bit of ambient feel, the ocean sounds and the wind blowing coupled with brutal riffing. Abath is like the ultimate riff writer in that style of metal. So
I dig it.
Anyway, I wore it because I'm trying to feel less mortal. So I wore an Immortal shirt.
Okay. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either. I mean, that's the thing about this whole COVID-19 deal is that I think that we don't feel quite as bulletproof as we might have beforehand.
Yeah, I agree.
So reality is kind of set in a little more of a hammer meets anvil kind of way.
Right.
And our fingers have been in the way of the hammer for a long time.
That's right.
So it's a wake-up call for all of us. And, if we can prove on our health habits and how we treat others, I think that's probably the takeaway from this. So what have we learned?
Let kindness abound.
Right. What have we learned
and
from this
wash
whole
your damn
thing?
hands.
Yeah, no doubt.
God.
And don't breathe on me.
Okay. Let's get to the heart of the episode today.
To the heart of winter?
Yes. I see what you did there. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this episode 52, which is going to be stage sets. I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. This may be a very short episode because I only have two that I think are just absolutely iconic, and then we can talk about like the first ones we saw. So I'll kick us off. And the first one that I saw, my first concert was Rat and Poison, and they had big ramps and stairs and stuff like that and lights everywhere, and that was pretty cool. And if I remember right, they came up from under the stage and just, it kind of boom, and they were there on the stage. I may be making that up in my head, but that's what I feel like I remember.
Were you in your right mind?
I was. Well, okay. I was only 16, so yes, I was. But that was the first one that I ever remember. But as far as iconic stage sets, you shoot first. I've got two in mind. I've got two in mind that I think.
I was gonna see if you were gonna say the same ones that I did, but
okay.
I remember seeing Max Webster, Angel, and Rush opening at the Exarban Arena in Omaha, Nebraska. And aside from all the chemical factors going on and so forth, I just remember how the stage was clean for Rush, but I remember the lighting being kind of a real part of it. It was the first time I'd actually seen just a multitude of lights and spotlights and red that kind of helped set the mood for certain parts of 2112. It was, All the World's a Stage tour.
Right.
And I do remember about Angel, just the amount of fog pouring out from and it seemed and they were all dressed in white, so it really literally looked like they were up in the clouds.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of a cool effect, and I know that's not like some crazy mad, but they had this huge banner, and of course I think the Angel logo is one of the greatest logos in rock and music, because you turn it upside down and it still says Angel. You turn it upside down, it says Angel. You turn it right side up, it still says Angel.
Right.
So they had this thing where it was sort of spinning in the background, then it would stop, and every time it was saying Angel. But anyway.
Yeah, I dig it.
So that's probably my first memory, obviously, and I probably think that you're going to name this band, but Kiss.
And specifically, to me, Alive 2.
Okay.
Which was the Love Gun tour.
Right. I saw them much earlier, and the stage set was stripped down compared to that.
Right.
They didn't have all the big chrome lights and the ramps and I think that hydraulic lift from inside the stage was like the effect du jour, where everyone would come out of the stage.
Well, the thing that Kiss did was one of the things that I'll talk about later. You're either going to have the stage set being part of the show and really helping carry the show and the theatrics and the whole bit, or you're going to be Kiss in 74, 75, and you're going to have a Marshall stack over here and a bass rig over here and the drums and
one candelabra.
a candelabra. Yes, yes. But that's all you need because you're Kiss, and it was so raw and it was so awesome. That's the reason I love the Pantera stage when they were first out, because it was just Marshall's over here or whatever they were. I can't remember if it was Marshall or Randall and the bass rig over here, and just bam. So I do love the classic clean stage, but as far as iconic stages, I've now added another one to the list as my brain works.
Uh-oh.
But my number one of all time favorite is opening up Kiss Alive 2, and I wasn't old enough to see it, but I remember the staircases, the lighted staircases, and the lights and the smoke and the big cats on Peter Criss's drum riser as it comes up, and then the big, lifts out on the front. That to me is the definitive classic awesome stage set of all time. I should have saved that for last.
Well, I tripped the trigger on that one. And the thing is Kiss sort of set the stage for all these other bands, because as I think about Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, all the even Dio to some Metallica, they all had that idea of stairs and rising. The ability for the band to not only maneuver side to side or back and forth, but up and down too. And that idea with the rising drum, we saw Motley Crue do that, and they took it to a completely different level where the drum kit would actually tumble and flip and then go out in front of amongst the audience and come back.
Yeah.
And
then he did the roller coaster thing.
But I think what I remember about Kiss is the fire and the heat and the explosions and how loud they were, and the number of lights had to be into the thousands, if not tens of thousands.
It was crazy.
Yeah. And then they had the fog, but see, even each individual was kind of a stage set of their own, because they were in these giant, crazy high-heeled shoes and whatever. So now you've got a double layer of, you have like three-dimensional stage set.
Well, and in that case, I wonder, did it distract from the music? Was the stage, in Kiss's thing, the look and the stage and the characters and all that, I think was in the forefront. The music was good, and the music was cool, but I think for what they were doing, it was all about, bam, look at this spectacle. Now, having said that, the second one on my list is Iron Maiden's Power Slave. That's just with the giant Eddie in the arms, and you've got the big Egyptian theme, and that was the World Slavery Tour was amazing, and they're still using things similar. Like I just saw them, and they have the big airplane over the stage, on their last tour.
The Spitfire or whatever.
That was awesome, but in that way, the music to me, even though it's such a huge spectacle and it's such a huge stage show, the music is still in the forefront to me.
Well, I think that lends to the fact that if you can still listen to the records without seeing the stage set, and enjoy the records, then the music must be pretty good. And the whole reason you got to the show is because you were listening to the music. So to see it coupled with this spectacular thing, I mean, I'm thinking about Motorhead. I could listen to Motorhead without seeing them for days, but then to go there and see with the giant bomber with all the lights on it, and that gigantic war pig in the background, and talk about a wall.
I'd forgotten about that.
Talk about a wall of amps. I mean, Jiminy Christmas, and it was so loud. The stage looked loud before they'd even played a note. And not much different than, like, say, Overkill, that parroted that with the wall of amps, and then that big, as we've mentioned, the mascot thing with the winged skull in the background, and then that enigmatic green light. And everything that they did was green, except for, well, we can talk about I Hear Black later, which was an orange theme for some strange reason.
Right.
But the green is their iconic thing, and then adding that to the whole thing, and then the layer and layer of sounds. The music sounds loud before they even play it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's fun. This is why I love doing the show unscripted and unrehearsed, because it makes me think of more things. You touched on Motley Crue earlier. I remember going and seeing them on the Girls, Girls, Girls tour, and I saw them on the Dr. Feelgood tour, back to back. And on the Girls, Girls, Girls tour, he had the drum kit that, would rise up out of the stage and it would, spin and tumble. And that was just the most amazing thing I thought I'd ever seen. And then on the next tour, it was the one where he climbed way up and it went out over the audience and came back. And then later, I did not see this, but the one that was kind of a roller coaster in a circle or whatever. I never saw that live. I think that was Carnival of Sins tour. But anyway.
I think they utilized that on their very last couple of shows on that reunion. This
maybe,
is it,
yeah,
or whatever.
I can't remember. But also, so the Motley Crue was good, but the other thing that was really cool outside of the drum riser was they had these massive blow-ups, these massive inflatables of...
Like the Beastie Boys?
I never saw that.
But we don't want to talk about... We want to keep it PG, not...
They had these ginormous inflatables, and I thought that was so cool because that was early in my concert-going career. But another one that I got to see a couple of years later on, and we'll talk about this on a future episode, concept albums, but what Queensryche brought on their Operation Mindcrime tour with the video. I'd never seen the video integrated into the stage set, and there was also a treadmill kind of thing where he could walk on it during certain parts of the song, step by step, and he's on the treadmill and he's walking, but he's not going anywhere, and at one point he bursts through the screen, and it looks like stuff's breaking, and that was a pretty cool use of video. That was the first use of video like that I had seen in concert, was Queensryche.
Yeah, and speaking of that, the band Opeth has become one of my favorite bands, and they obviously started in a very dark place and were one of the heaviest death metal bands in all of Sweden, coming out of that Swedish death metal thing, and now they have kind of refined their sound to the ultimate limit, where they're basically they sound like Deep Purple meets a jazz fusion band at this point. And but they had a lot of the video thing that really set the mood for the music. A lot of black and white video of leaves blowing and trees moving in the wind, and oceans lapping against big heavy granite rocks. So I think that all that stuff enhances the music. And when you're a great band and you have a great stage setup, it enhances it even more. It becomes more of an experience, right? It becomes a total experience rather than just a listening or a visual experience.
Yeah, it's just the perfect seasoning on the entree. It's perfect. Case in point, well, gosh, now I've got so many things running through my head, but...
Are you thinking about ELO coming down in the spaceship and it opening
up?
No,
but that's awesome.
No, but
Motley Crue, God... Metallica and Justice for All with Lady Justice. That was awesome.
And those huge steps and...
Yeah, and then when one came on and the blinking lights, synced up with the machine gun fire, and it just creates this whole mood. But also, the godfather of shock rock.
How have we not mentioned Alice Cooper?
How have we not mentioned Alice Cooper? And to me, Alice Cooper comes down to one thing. Yeah, he's got the cane, and he's got the crutch, and he's got the different makeup and the dress and all the different things that he's done. The guillotine.
Oh, yeah.
The freaking guillotine. I remember the first time I saw that.
That was more than just mind-blowing. That was
dude.
Oh, my.
I saw him on Operation Rock and Roll. Was that the first time or on the Trash tour? Anyway, those were the only two times I saw Alice Cooper. And... the Trash tour was awesome. He came out of a giant trash can. But he did the whole bit. He did the guillotine and he did the hanging. And I'd never seen anything like it. And I thought it was just amazing. But then he did, when I saw him on Operation Rock and Roll, the electric chair.
Oh, man.
And I didn't even know about the electric chair until I saw that.
I remember seeing Blue Oyster Cult and Alice Cooper almost back to back. And I thought, Blue Oyster Cult was more about music and less about stage props. But I can remember the cutting of the hand and that,
Yeah.
that Eric Bloom did, and I thought, wow, that's so amazing. And then I fall back into the several weeks later of seeing Alice Cooper, and I'm like, man, Eric Bloom has nothing on Mr. Cooper. I mean, this is
Right.
amazing.
Right.
But the guillotine thing, I never did see the electric chair thing, but the guillotine thing,
Oh yeah, it was
that scared me a little bit.
it was awesome. And even I'm looking at a poster here, AC/DC. I've only seen AC/DC once, and it was on the Black Ice tour. Shame on me for not getting out to see AC/DC sooner, but they still had the giant row of cannons and the giant inflatables and the.
Did they have the bell that lowered down
Oh, yes.
for Hell's Bells?
Oh,
That's
yes.
pretty awesome.
Oh yes, and the stage that goes out into the middle of the audience is always cool. I don't care who does that; that's always cool. And the inflatables where you got Rosie.
Oh yeah.
During a whole lot of Rosie, and then you got the giant train because of the song from Black Ice.
Right.
Rock and Roll Train, or I think that's right.
Yep.
But that was pretty neat to see. But going off the metal page a little bit, Leonard Skinner opening up for the Rolling Stones, and the Rolling Stones have got the big tongue, and they're forbidden to go out there. But on the Leonard Skinner documentary, you see, screw that, and they go out and they're all jamming on the giant Rolling Stones tongue and pissing off Mick and Keith.
So if we're getting off the metal train, is this my chance to interject Osric Tentacles to the conversation?
Okay, here we go. It's Osric Tentacles talk.
Oh no, they're spectacular. If you've never seen them, I mean, they had a what was it called? Light Salad, Light and Company. It was like this huge company that was first to kind of introduce lasers and the whole bubbly backgrounds and so forth. And all their shows are like that. And it's not just a stage interaction on a back screen. It interacts with the audience too, and each player. It's pretty spectacular. So, once again, I could listen to them without all the bells and whistles, but I just watched the video the other day live at the Pong Masters Ball. Highly recommended. To all you liquid sound people. But anyway, it really just enhances the experience, like we've mentioned before. And speaking of that, Judas Priest, like I said, we've mentioned that, but who else rides a Harley Davidson out onto stage?
That's true, and has been knocked out by it once, at least once.
Oh.
Yeah. The Priest Painkiller tour was cool with the big speaker-looking stuff. That was awesome. A quick mention before I get to my very favorite stage set of all time. I'm amending what I said about Kiss.
Okay.
And this is going to be a little bit of a curveball for the show. But the Clash of the Titans tour and Megadeth was doing Rust in Peace tour, and they had what looked like the cargo crates all across the stage.
And chain link, did they have chain link
I
fence?
think so.
Kind of like Twisted Sister?
Yeah, except it wasn't pink.
Yeah, right. Right.
But that was pretty cool. I remember seeing that stage. I remember on that tour, Anthrax had the big clock with Persistence of Time.
Right.
And I don't remember what Slayer had. I can't remember.
Lots and lots and lots of red lights and lots of skulls and upside down crosses.
But the Megadeth made an impression on me. In fact, that poster, I took that picture over there. And that's pretty good. I'm going to show. Can I show it?
There it is.
See that Megadeth picture right there? Yeah, I took that picture at Clash of the Titans.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cool.
Production value.
Yeah, I like it.
So that was cool, but okay, and what I said about Kiss remains true. That really is my favorite of all time.
Okay.
Because it's so iconic. But the biggest, best, most amazing show I think I've ever seen in person was Roger Waters. When I saw Roger Waters a couple of years ago...
We didn't even mention Pink Floyd, so...
When I saw Roger Waters a couple of years ago, and I never saw Pink Floyd, this is as close as I'll probably ever come to seeing that. If David Gilmour tours, I'll go see it for sure. But Roger Waters on his last tour, this one is postponed. I've got tickets, and I'm going to go back next year and see it again. But he did all the Pink Floyd stuff, the spectrum of light coming through the pyramid, and the use of video on that thing where the video screens are actually shrinking and changing shapes and sizes throughout the show was amazing. And then when they put the big on the cover of Animals, what's the powerhouse? It's called the something.
Yeah.
The big, anyway, they recreated that.
Wow.
And there's smoke coming out the stacks.
Did they have the inflatable pig, though?
They did. And it floated all around the arena.
I saw the inflatable pig in Kansas City at Arrowhead Stadium, and it got untethered and disappeared into the into the wild blue yonder. Yeah,
I would have chased that down until
it was yeah. And
the big silver ball.
Big
the whole
pig
thing.
was little tiny pig in no time. It was way up there.
I'm looking around the room just super quick. Yeah, I think we've covered a bunch of good stuff.
Yeah.
But, yeah, stage sets. What are your favorite stage sets? What are your most iconic favorites, that you've seen or read about or seen on home video or whatever? Home video. There's a...
Oh, wow. You just dated yourself there, Holmes.
25 years ago? Anyway, yeah, let us know in the comments what you think. And
do you think stage props has anything to do with stage sets?
Sure.
I'm thinking about like the rigor mortis Bruce Corbett chain link microphone.
Oh, yeah.
And our buddies from Forebode, we gotta say our house band Forebode.
With the green one.
With the green one. And so it doesn't have to be big or small. I'm thinking of Saxon, where they had the eagle.
Yeah.
That's like, that could lend to the idea about the mascot and the stage set or whatever. But
sure.
So... yeah, in the comments, let us know what you think as far as your favorite.
And tell us what we missed. I know we missed a ton, but...
yeah, stay in class.
That's right. Yeah, we'll do a 30-second episode on your favorite stage set.
Right.
So, yeah, that's it for episode 52 of the Metal Roundtable. I really appreciate everybody hanging with us. It's been a weird transitional time with everything going on in the country. It's been a weird transitional time with Monkey Butt moving to Michigan. We're going to get that figured out, and I think we'll be in a more pro setting again pretty soon, and hopefully at a regular time again. But I hope you enjoyed your Memorial Day weekend. It is Memorial Day right now as we're filming this.
Yeah.
So, and don't forget about these dudes. Their record drops digitally tomorrow on their Bandcamp page. There, now you can see it. Overdose from NYC. I freaking love these guys. Buy the 7 inches, buy the t-shirt, buy the record digitally. The 12 inches coming out on Splattered Records. I'm giddy about that band right now, so check them out.
I got nothing except, as well as remember these guys, remember the men and women of our armed forces that have allowed us to have the freedom to do this. I don't want to sound cheesy, but I'm going to sound cheesy anyway, because we enjoy a lot of freedom.
Yep.
And this is fun to do this, and there are places where this isn't so accepted. So,
right.
Much love and appreciation to them.
To everyone
and,
that
here's
made
a
the
retired
ultimate.
military guy. I'm the son of a retired military guy, so we're steeped in that too. But
not retired, just former.
I'm
a veteran.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Oh, and I just touched my face. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to learn the
just
new norm.
don't touch my face.
Yeah.
Well, we are back with a vengeance with our stage set talk. We are so glad you're here. Please like us, subscribe us, hit that little bell so that you can subscribe to us.
And tell your friends.
Please tell your friends. We're still trying to get to that
magic number.
Magic number. Oh, I screwed up.
And the magic number is not 6.
I screwed up the channel. I screwed up the channel so badly.
Go higher than that.
Anyway, until next time, as always,
metal will prevail.